I've said it a few times before, and I'm going to say it again. Successful tax-efficient intergenerational transfer is founded on successful tax-efficient wealth accumulation. The more your clients have, the more they have to pass on. Stands to reason, doesn't it? For many, the adoption of a disciplined saving and investment strategy will be an important foundation to successful accumulation over time. So doing that first step, taking that first step and doing it well is so important to having a great outcome. So when it comes to tax efficient accumulation, I've broken my reminder, because it is no more than that. There's no revelation in this. I've broken my reminder down into two parts. One is generally tax efficient accumulation, and then specifically tax efficient accumulation. What do I mean by that? Well, generally tax efficient accumulation. First, using your tax allowances, making sure you make as much use as possible of them to ensure that you save more, keep more, using your personal allowance, your dividend allowance of £2,000, using the personal allowances around the family if you can to save up family wealth, using your starting rate band and your personal savings allowance for savings income. All of those things, do that well, and it will be helpful. It won't be the only thing you need to do, of course, but it will be helpful towards achieving that aspired to objective of having more wealth to draw down on and pass on. Of course, use the tax no-brainers of pensions, ISAs, VCTs, and where appropriate, enterprise investment schemes. Remember to use the capital gains tax allowance. This is a real reminder. This is like a year-end tax planning point, except think about it all the year through at 12,300. That CGT exemption doesn't stay, can't be held over, lose it, use it or lose it. You have to use it in the year. So think carefully about using it. And once you've gone beyond the tax no-brainers and using your exemptions and allowances, don't forget the tax deferment power of investment bonds, UK or international as appropriate. And of course, collective investments to defer the capital gains to a time when it's right for you, when it's more tax efficient. So tax deferment combined with tax efficiency and tax saving and tax incentives will help really meaningfully contribute towards the outcome that you are seeking. Basically, having more wealth for you to start with, and then having more wealth to pass on. Specifically, tax efficient accumulation. What do I mean by that? Well, savings and accumulation for the next generation you are seeking to serve through that intergenerational transfer. So saving up for them in their name before the time comes to pass on your wealth on death. Junior ISAs up to £9,000 can be saved. If you don't like the rigidity of a junior ISA, by which I mean the fact that it becomes an ordinary ISA at age 18 and the person you're saving up for gets the money, then think about nominated accounts, designated collectives for the next generation might be a way to do that. Do a bit more work using trusts and designated accounts, and you can get a little more control over when they get the money and how they get the money. Pensions for children, a really obvious one. How can children have pensions? They've got no earnings. Well, aside from pocket money. Well, they can still have a pension. You know that up to £3,600 gross can be saved each year, and it will only cost you £2,880. The extra basic rate tax relief on that will be contributed directly by HMRC. And of course, there's also, if you've got some capital, the power of the offshore bond, holding that money in a bond in your own name, offshore, tax-free inside the fund, and then assigning segments or the whole bond to the child when they become over 18 and can receive a valid assignment. And then that transfer is not a chargeable event. And then the bond, all the segments in it are owned by that person, that child, that person over 18, to use their personal allowance, personal savings allowance, nil rate starting band to possibly get something around £18,000 or more completely tax-free each year in gains from the bond. Of course, assuming they have no other taxable income. There's planning that can be done, is the point, with money available for long-term holding an offshore bond, either put into trust for them from outset, or because you may not be sure how and whether, and you want to transfer the bond to them, you can hold it yourself and make that transfer over by non-chargeable event-based assignment, leaving them to use their allowances, as I've just explained. All of these opportunities exist and have existed for quite some time, which is very, very reassuring. So they should definitely be considered as part of the overall financial plan for all families, because that's what will culminate in a tax effective and beneficial intergenerational transfer. The more tax efficient your clients can make their accumulation, the better will be the intergenerational outcome.